This video took place on June 19th, 2020, during a meeting with the Citizens Advisory Committee with the newly appointed superintendent regarding the voter-approved Measure M bond of $25.5 million. Mr. Crick asked Dr. Baker if she knows of the previous agreement between the Carpenters Union and the district.
Since the building is complete, is the school district still going to reach out to the Carpenters Union and take them up? And are you aware of the things that were set forth prior for that building and what the Carpenter Union was willing to do and what they were willing to come in and teach the students and the programs that were going to be available through them?
There are a variety of academic programming components, not just limited to this particular building. And so we're working on our academic programming, which will be inclusive. I think as we get closer to that process, Mr. Valdivia, the principal, will certainly be responsible with some support from the district academic office to
yeah, that wasn't my question.
Yeah, Dr. Baker, let me give you a little back.
My question is, are you reaching out to the Carpenters Union that was going to run the program and they were willing to put the students through an educational process? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, tell me that you don't know what I'm talking about so that you can then ask various individuals so that you can reach out and see what's all been slated for that building.
Okay, Mr. Crick, I really want to just preface my statement with this. As you and I continue to build our relationship, I'm going to need the language that you use to be respectful of me as a human being, okay? And so I understand about academic programming. I do not know everything about the way that you all intended for the academic programming to work, but as you and I build our relationship, I'm going to ask just this one time, and hopefully anyone under the sound of my voice remembers this. I'm a very respectful person, and it's important to me as a human being that when people are speaking to me, that they are respectful also, okay? So I just want to say that one time.
I understand. And if I ruffled your feathers, I'm sorry, because that was not the intent of the conversation.
Let's just make sure that everything that you and I say, that it is respectful.
Okay.
So Richard, we're going to have to help Dr. Baker go way back to the origins of the project and how the Carpenters Union was originally engaged for the construction technology component. Joe Ledesma had a big part in that. Dr. Guillen Robert Guillen had a big part in that. So give us some time to orient Dr. Baker to those early thoughts, because it is important to come full circle with that union to see what and how this COVID-19 has affected their ability to rejoin the program for construction at Banning High School. I think they're going to be completely, based on my exposure to that union, they were very excited about the project, but we do need to reach out to them to see how much they want to continue carrying on with this program and how much involvement, they're willing to participate with. I think we just need to get Dr. Baker caught up with that whole union.
And that's the reason I bring it up.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot that's been discussed in the past, and I want to bring it out and discuss what was discussed prior to try to bring everybody up to speed, so that the school year is starting, and a whole school year doesn't go away because nobody said anything about prior communications with the Carpenters Union.
Mr. Cruz, I appreciate you sharing that update with me. We're going to create a program that accelerates academic achievement, and I will be following up with you, Mr. Cruz, as well as my academic team and the principal to make sure that we have an understanding of what was anticipated, keeping in mind that the board does approve the curriculum and the process for the entire academic program. And so we'll take a look at what was proposed, and the board will determine the academic direction based off of our recommendation. But Mr. Cruz, I do appreciate that overview.
I look forward to that opportunity.
Thank you.
Any other discussion this evening?
Yes, I'd like to say something. This is Leslie, Clerk Sattler from the board.
Leslie.
Yeah, Mr. Guillen was keeping the board informed about the intention of the both of those buildings. And while we were at a conference in December, we approached several of the trade unions, including electrical, carpenter, I don't know, there was another one, maybe plumbing. And so we are aware what needs to take action as board meetings. Members were aware of what needs to happen. And I think what Dr. Baker was trying to say, to answer your question, is that she's moving towards more allowing Mr. Valdivia, the principal at the high school, to have the autonomy to reach out to the carpenter and electrical and plumbing unions and whatever trades he feels is necessary. I think we used to even have a masonry union was in there and did work with the kids then too. So the answer to your question, Mr. Crick, is yes, the board is aware of what needs to happen. We have brought Dr. Baker on board to carry out what we think is necessary, and she has decided that it's best if Mr. Valdivia carry through since he's the authority at that site. So does that answer the question you were asking about the Carpenters Union?
I was just trying to bring it out into the open. It hasn't been discussed in a long time, and that the building is coming to completion and fruition, and we've got a new school year starting. I didn't want to be neglected, and that we did discuss this about the future of the building and how it was going to be used, and what we had discussed and actually physically gone out and visually looked at the program with the Carpenters Union in Ontario. I went out there personally and looked at their program and listened to what they had to offer. And I just wanted to make sure that I know there's a transition, and I just wanted to see that everything was transitioning forward. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. I'm not trying to tell anybody how to run the school district. I'm not trying to tell them how to run the programs or anything. I am just bringing out, I had a question, it was specific, and I was looking for an answer, and it's out, it's open, and you guys are proceeding with it. And my thing is, I just can't wait to see students involved in that new CTE building, and being able to the whole purpose of that program was to be able to have students be able to graduate from Banning High and be able to go out in the workplace and get a living wage and benefits. And that was the whole purpose of that project. The other part of that building, I guess, wasn't mentioned. We mentioned all the other trades, but I guess there's an automotive side to that building also.
Yeah, I appreciate your concern, and thank you for bringing it up. But I'm very confident in our capacity on the academic side of the house to make sure that our kids are going to be ready for the future with the CTE programming and the other academic programmings. But that's in our lane in terms of the academic program, and so we'll definitely keep you in the loop about our next steps.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you how to run the school district. Mm-hmm. I'm just talking about a building that was built for a specific purpose, and I wanted to see if programs that were shared and discussed and planned with this committee just carry forward for discussion, so that you're not reinventing the wheel this year because I don't know what's discussed. So I'm just
right in that academic
very straightforward and to the point. And I mean, I ask a question, and I don't mean to step on toes, and if it sounded that way, but I'm not trying to tell you how to run the school district. All I was inquiring to see if the discussion was out there that the prior programs that we had discussed and looked at were going to be possibly used.
We will, and like I said, Mr. Crick, we are responsible for the success of the district. We're very confident in our capacity to do this work well, and we will keep you abreast of our next steps with our programming, but it is our decision and our decision with input. And so we'll look into the programming that was outlined, and we will make the recommendation to the board that we think is best for our children. And so I want to leave you with that much as well. I do appreciate you giving us an opportunity to share our thoughts. But again, as we move forward, my main concern is going to be that we respect each other as human beings when we speak to each other. The respect for me is big. And so I anticipate not feeling like I'm getting bullied when I'm on these meetings and when I'm in any meeting. I want to feel respected as a human being when someone talks to me, because I'm going to respect you as a human being. So that's the only piece that I'm leaving with this meeting from. I'm letting you know that anything outside of the level of respect that I demand is not going to be acceptable. And so I need you to hear me when I say that, when you speak to me or anyone on my team.
And as I said earlier, if I offended you, I'm sorry.
What's the next item?
I have nothing else.
This is how Dr. Baker treats citizens of the community. This is also how she treats board members that do not agree with her. Can you imagine how she treats parents? That's if you're lucky enough to get an appointment with her, since she will not meet or see you. Can you imagine how she treats employees? Maybe that's why so many have left. Maybe this is why she tells employees to not speak to the board, to follow the chain of command where concerns get lost and shuffled around. What happened to the transparency that she promised? Why does the school board continue to protect her? Ultimately, it's the students that we fail.